Welcome to another episode of the Prescription for Better Living podcast, where we discuss all things health and wellness in a hip and relatable way. I'm Dr. Hernando Carter, board certified internal medicine physician, your primary care extraordinaire, and welcome to another exciting episode of the PBL podcast. So, if this podcast has informed you in some way, helped you in some way, blessed you and or entertained you in some way, you know what I need you to do. We need your support. You can support us by subscribing to the podcast, sharing the podcast with all of your family and friends, commenting on the podcast, giving us stars. We need them all, 5 stars. Likes, we need them all. Stand on the tallest mountaintop you can and scream to the top of your lungs, hallelujah, Dr. Carter is here. If you'd like to support the PBL podcast financially, and we do need your support, there are a few ways you can do it. You can hit us up on the Cash App, $PBL podcast, and we'll take that little old change up out you. No donation is too large or too small. Also, you can become a member of our Patreon family. We have a community on Patreon. Just $1 a month supports the podcast. Patreon.com/Dr. Hernando Carter. Also, if you would like to be a podcast sponsor, we would love your support. So hit us up, contact@rxforbetterliving.org. That's contact@rx, the number 4, betterliving.org, and we'll get back in touch with you. Speaking of sponsors, shout out to my man Cedric Cooper with Right On Time Physical Therapy. You know who he is. He's taking care of all of your physical therapy needs. If you have something hurting, if you want to develop a really structured, personalized exercise plan that's going to maximize your results, but minimize the risk of injuries, you might as well see a physical therapist for that. Cedric Cooper can do that for you. RightOnTimePT.com. Or you can call him at 205-209-8771. Or you can pay him a visit. He's right over there off Avenue D in Ensley at the Ensley Health Club. Tell him Hernando and the Prescription for Better Living podcast sent you. Shout out to Bespoke Wellness, Concierge Primary Care, Weight Loss Services, IV Fluids. We got it all. You can call us. We're accepting patients. We're rolling and seeing patients. 205-396-2820. You can also follow us on Instagram at Bespoke Wellness BHAM, and you can follow us on Facebook at Bespoke Wellness Services. Shout out to drhernandocarter.com, your website for everything Dr. Hernando Carter. Listen, you need a speaker to come and speak at your corporate or community event, hit us up. If you're interested in learning more about our podcast and all that we do, hit us up. If you're interested in getting some merch, and I know you should be, drhernandocarter.com. You got the PBL merch right there on the shop tab. So hit us up. Well, gang, here we are. You know where we have been over the last couple of weeks, and we're still on this journey. This is episode 44, Heavy Topics, Part 3. And in Part 3 of Heavy Topics, we're going to get into the genetics of obesity. There's the genetics of obesity. Did you know that there are genetic factors that can impact someone's weight, whether they are normal weight, overweight, or obese? Oh, yes. You know, often when we talk about this subject of weight, the reason it can be so uncomfortable for people, the reason why sometimes it can be so offensive to some people, and the reason people shy away from it is because we always focus on the behavioral components of weight. So that When people are obese, we say things like, you got to push away from the table. You got to hit the gym, right? You got to stop eating so much. We use these phrases like big back and stuff like that. That's offensive. And you know what it does to the person who has been struggling and battling with obesity? It devalues them, yes, but it also adds to this sense of frustration and despair because they feel like they can't do anything about it. Well, why do you say that, Hernando? Because most people who have been battling with weight challenges have tried. They've tried all the diets. They've tried the Daniel fast. They've tried intermittent fasting. They tried the juice fast. They tried doing all these kind of teas and cleanses. They've tried it all. They've gone to boot camp after boot camp, trainer after trainer, and much to their dismay, they have maybe lost some weight, 10, 15, 20 pounds, great. But most people who are in the obese category, in order to get out of that obese category of BMI of 30 or greater, is going to require a much larger amount of weight loss in pounds. A lot of times 50 pounds or more. And I don't know if you've tried to lose 10, 15, 20 pounds, but my goodness, that's hard enough. But when you're talking about losing 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, some people need to lose 100 or more pounds, that can be a very daunting task to even think about. And so people don't like talking about it because it's like, why talk about something that I know is a problem, but I'm trying and I can't, I'm not making progress. And then you get into this vicious cycle of dieting and exercising and losing weight and plateauing and getting discouraged and then frustrated and then giving up and then going back to eating whatever you want and not exercising because you say to yourself, if I'm going through all of this discomfort and putting all of this stress on my body only to repeat the results of the past, what is the benefit in that? I might as well just be happy. So people don't want to talk about it. Now, you know that I'm a board certified internal medicine physician. Yeah, you're a primary care extraordinaire. And I want to lay the foundation of hope on this episode as it relates to obesity. Now, do you need to work hard? Yes. Do you need to eat healthier? Yes, of course you do. But I'm here to tell you that if we just focus solely on the behavioral aspects of obesity, we are doing ourselves and our loved ones and our colleagues and our clients a disservice. Listen, if you are a personal trainer out there, if you are a counselor out there, a coach, yes, you can help add structure to your client's life, right? Help them devise a plan. Yes. An exercise plan. Yes. A nutrition plan? Yes. Accountability? Yes. Motivation? Yes. But don't stop there. Gain an understanding of the science behind obesity, because there is science behind it. And this is probably a not so well kept secret. You know, in 1901, Sir William Osler. Now, I am trained in internal medicine, and we learned a lot of things from Tinsley Harrison, this book, Harrison's Principles of Internal Medicine, but also from Sir William Osler, okay? A clinician, a researcher, a medical educator, okay? And Sir William Osler in 1901 talked about the correlation between weight and genetics. And he observed even then that there are people who can eat whatever they want, not exercise. We know these people. You hate them. You hate them because they can eat, Gary. It's some people, Gary, they can eat, man. And I love, we Birmingham now. I love Green Acres chicken. Oh my God. All the way, number 6, all the way. Fried hard, extra sauce with lemon pepper. Gary, oh my God. But if I ate that, like, even I'm talking like once a week, oh man, I would blow up. I love it. But it's some people out here, man. I mean, they can eat. Oh, I mean, just eat whatever they want. And then you think, Gary, oh, they're so thin. Oh, they must have, they must run an hour a day. Nope. Couch surfing, Netflixing. Hey, man. And we say, oh, they just got the high metabolism. It's just metabolism, huh? And they ain't got the big bones. Gary, you laughing at me, man. But listen, I'm keeping it real here. But do you know that there are plenty of people who are diagnosed as obese who don't eat Green Acres chicken, number 6 all the way, extra sauce with lemon pepper. And that white bread, that light bread that sop up the grease. They don't eat like that. They don't. They trying. They're eating sensible meals, and a lot of them eat less than some of their thinner counterparts. They are walking and exercising and working out. But they feel defeated. And it's not all their fault. Think about this. Have you ever seen a child, like, I'm talking like, like a young child, not even like an adolescent. I'm talking like, you know, kindergarten, first grade, and they already round and plump. And then you think, oh, it's a failure in parenting, right? It's a lack of the parents uh not guiding their child and making, oh, they just feeding them to McDonald's and now we talked about especially in our community, those environmental factors. We talked about the social determinants of health. We talked about food deserts and the paucity of good grocery stores in our communities, and how there are more corner stores and more fast food restaurants and all of that in our communities. And so we are exposed to those foods that are heavier in fat and sodium and carbohydrates, etc., the processed, ultra processed foods. I am not discounting that. But what I'm saying is that when it comes to genetics, right? You have genotypic expression and you have phenotypic expression. And usually what happens is there's this nature nurture thing, right? Where someone has a genetic predisposition for something, and then you add in the perfect storm of those environmental stimuli, and then it causes the expression of that particular gene in a phenotypic sense. And in this discussion, the phenotype is obese. There are some people who are genetically predisposed to being obese. It's no different than women who have a family history of breast cancer, where their mother had breast cancer, their grandmother had breast cancer, their sister had breast cancer. We can test those individuals for the BRCA gene. And if they test positive for the BRCA gene, we can give them options like going ahead and getting mastectomy so you don't get breast cancer as a preventative measure, or more frequent screenings. We can tell them certain medications to avoid, certain foods to avoid, because it runs in the family. There have been studies to show that in adopted children, who are in a household where everybody who's genetically related by blood has a lower BMI, and the child growing up in that same environment, same food for breakfast, lunch, dinner, same family interaction, same level of activities, same, okay? But they are not genetically related. They're adopted. They're not connected by blood. Those individuals who are genetically predisposed to being obese have a higher BMI year over year than the same people who they've grown up in the house with. Now, this can't be a coincidence. They done studies looking at twins who were separated at birth in different environments. But they both had higher BMIs on average than the households with which they grew up in. There are genetic conditions, y'all, where you see some of these little children and you look down on them with and their parents with disgust and disapproving glances. There are genetic conditions that these children have. It's no fault of their own, no fault of their parents, that makes them obese. I'll give you a few conditions. Prader-Willi syndrome, Prader dash Willie, Willi, not like your Uncle Willie, or the Willie that fixed the Cadillacs with the cigarette hanging out of Willi, Prader-Willi syndrome. Now, this comes with neurocognitive delay and disorder. but also comes with obesity. That's just one. And there are several. Did you know that you can be coded in your body for the fat, and we all have fat in our body, right? We need it. It's an energy source. The problem is when you have too much, but you can be coded in your body and your genetics for that fat that's there. It can be coded to burn faster or slower, and it can accumulate faster in some people. Yes, you can inherit obesity just like you can the risk for breast cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer, on and on and on. Let's talk about some genes. The LEPR gene, LEPR, leptin receptor gene deficiency. Leptin receptor gene deficiency. And if you have this genetic mutation, you burn fat less efficiently, slower. Leptin is a hormone, a peptide hormone that reflects both energy stores in the form of fat and energy balance. We're always storing and breaking down fat for energy. That is why when you go into a ketosis diet, where you cause yourself to go into ketosis, that works to lose weight because you're making yourself go into a energy burning state. But these individuals have a loss of function mutation in this gene, and they can't burn fat the way they need to. And there are so many different genes. I'm not going to nerd out on you, but why are you talking about this, Hernando? I'm glad you asked, because I just needed to kind of pique your interest and plant a seed in your awareness so that the next time you look in the mirror at yourself, or the next time you look at someone else, don't always just say that it's just they don't have discipline. It's a character issue. We look at obesity almost as if it's a moral issue, because we say gluttony is one of the 7 deadly sins. But that, a lot of people who are obese are not gluttonous. They're just not, y'all. And so where are you going with this, Hernando? I'm glad you asked. We're wrapping this up. But listen, yes, we got to have a healthy, balanced diet. Absolutely. Yes, we have to exercise daily and be active. Absolutely. But for some people, because of genetics, it ain't gonna cut it. And they're gonna need medical treatment, whether that be surgery, whether that be pills, or whether that be injections. And we got to be okay with that. We got to stop looking at obesity like it is a character flaw. And we got to look at it like it is a medical condition, like high blood pressure, like diabetes, like cancer. Because once we realize that, we can treat it and help people get better and live longer, healthier, more vibrant, independent lives. So that's where we're going next. Yeah, I'm talking about treatment for obesity, because you can't always just will your way out of obesity. And if you are telling people that, I need you to stop right now because you don't know what you're talking about. And this has been another episode of the Prescription for Better Living podcast. As always, I'm Dr. Hernando Carter, board certified internal medicine physician. Yes, your primary care extraordinaire, saying, wherever you go, whatever you do, scream from the tallest mountaintop you can. Hallelujah, Dr. Carter is here. Until next time, I love you. Dr. Carter saying,